Welcome back. Good to see you again, Julia. I've enjoyed the
Yeah,
first couple of videos.
it's great talking about where we've been, right? Particularly uh when you're looking back in the year, this time of year in January, and seeing where your journey's been. So I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, it it has been a journey. We mentioned on the previous video, it was just Gail and I starting out. We did our first loan. Kind of building some processes and checklists and things, and having a couple of borrowers in place, being kind of afraid of what happened if they went away. So that was kind of our first phase, right? Just getting things going and seeing that it was real. It really worked. Was the first part. From there, it was how do we grow this thing a little bit, and that's a little bit nerve wracking too when you've put all the money you have available in, and you've got your initial money partners money plugged in, and yet you're finding other deals. and I've always been on the side of, if I tell someone that I'm going to commit to fund their deal, that I'm going to get it done. And because I've been, I think that's one of our strengths with our borrowers is we've been on the other side before. We've been the one that has to get the closing done. And so I always wanted to make sure that we followed through with that and closed when we say we would close. And
A
so we always
delicate dance between borrowers and money partners, right?
have.
Having
Yes.
the right leveled out. So yeah, but you guys
Yeah.
have done a great job with it. I mean, I'm super impressed. So tell us more about, so you made the decision. Willie prompted you to think about, the fact is, okay, well, do you want to turn this to a business? So then it's like, whew, okay, yes, we're going to go do this. I'm sure you spoke with Gail about it quite a bit, and y'all prayed over it, and it was like, this was what you wanted to go do. So now you've got to start growing the borrowers and the money partners to make it where you have enough business flowing in that it feels like a business, right?
Right, right. And so we knew about marketing from days before, and so that's kind of what I went back to. I went back to an old marketing plan template that I had. I kind of revamped it because it was really set up for a lot of direct mail, and we weren't going to do that. So we said, okay, we're going to have some offline marketing where we go out to the real estate investor clubs, and meetup groups had come along the way. There was meetup.com, and you could find people that were meeting together for real estate that way. So we developed an online and offline, just kind of a basic marketing plan, and then it was really kind of up to me to get out there. And Gail went with me too to a lot of those first meetings. As things continued to grow, she didn't go to as many, but we'd go out and have the dinners, or have the meetings, and then the follow-up meetings afterwards, and just networking. Right. I used to think networking was you go somewhere and you hand out as many business cards as you can, and then I realized, no, networking is about making new friends. And so
We created a whole training course on that, right? If you remember, that was like one of my favorite workshops, building the conversation stack, right? And
yes.
so, yes, instead of just passing out a business card, you had to actually talk to people.
Right. And then we started finding people, a lot of them, and so for you guys listening, you will run into a lot of people who are just tire kickers, who really aren't doing any deals, and they want to do their first deal with you. We don't do that. One of our safety factors that we have is, if someone comes to us and they check all of the boxes except the experience box, we say, hey, we can work with you if you'll partner up with someone who has the experience. Right. That's the only missing factor, and we let them know it's for their own good. If you get into this deal and you make some mistakes, you're going to lose money. We don't want to see you lose money. We definitely aren't in this to lose money. So partner up. So we're looking at that as we meet people, but there are a lot of tire kickers. We got clear along the way, and this will be something we can probably discuss in the third video, but we got clear on who we wanted to work with as a borrower and who we didn't. And then, there, like you said earlier, there's that balance between the borrowers and the money partners, we had a lot of money partner connections that we had built over the years of people. Some of them had been my coworkers when I had that process engineering job. Some of them were friends from church. Some of them were just other connections that we had through real estate. And it just seemed that when they saw what we were doing, that we were doing it systematically and not, a fly by night kind of operation, people were interested. And so we began to see both sides of that grow, the borrower and the money partner side. And, that led to putting processes in place on the money partner side. How often are we going to pay? What does that look like? The statements. And it was an interesting growth process to see all that come to life.
Yes. And again, we go back to having the people, the processes, and systems in play when you begin and when you grow, and as you continue to grow. Those are key components of a successful business. So
yeah, so there are people that I've met that are doing private lending that came from a mortgage background, and something that I've learned, kind of on my own along the way was now when I talk to people in mortgage, they talk about the 4 C's: credit, character, competency, and cash to fund the deal. And so we had started doing these telephone interviews with borrowers, or video chat or something. We someone new might be referred to us, or maybe a reconnect with someone from a real estate investor club. And I was having these conversations with people to get to know them and get a feel. Did they have the experience? Did they have the money for the down payment? And it hit me, hey, we need kind of a process for this. So I created a borrower interview sheet that now I can be, very intentional about asking the right questions along the way. It leads to a shorter interview, but really capturing all the information that we need to have to know if they're going to be good to work with. So that's one of the pitfalls that we saw along the way was not really checking all of those boxes off with a new borrower. You meet somebody, maybe they got a lot of charisma, sounds like they got a lot of deals going, and I'm going to fund their next deal. That interview process and everything has helped tremendously. So that's something I'm willing to offer to people as well if they'd like to get a copy of our borrower interview sheet.
Well, it takes the emotion out of it, right? Because now you've got, again, a checklist, and they have to check these boxes. Now, some of the components I know are, well, I wouldn't call them emotional, but they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like, it is character, right? So it's like a judgment of character based on the other questions. And so for sure, if you're going to be taking and lending money to a borrower, you want to make sure that they're of good integrity and character, right? That's one of the pieces of it. But yes, that I love that borrower checklist, and that'd be cool for everybody to be able to get that to go through, because again, treat it like a business. You got to take everyone through a process to make sure that it lines up with what your best practices are.
Yeah. And so many pitfalls are coming to mind as we talk through this, with that borrower interview. But we've learned things in structuring the loans of things not to do, that maybe it looks like it's okay on the surface. Things like building in some of their payments and things like that. You can do some of that, but I think maybe later on we should have a question and answer session sometime if people have questions about these things, about these pitfalls. But
yes, going back, I mean, using collateral if there's not enough value in the property itself, and there's just so many different components of it that having a call with people's questions and answers would be really, and I'd love to do that. I'd love to chat face to face with some of these people. So it's been a while. It's been just a minute, right?
Yeah. And it's great to read. So many great people that we've met over the years.
Yes.
And continue to meet. That's one of the things I enjoy about this, because just as we're picky about the borrowers we work with, we're picky about the money partners as well. We want to make sure we're a good fit for them. that, that they're looking for something that's going to generate a monthly income, and that they understand and like this industry that we're in. So we, on both sides of it, we're wanting to make sure that there's a good fit there, and that we're a good fit for them, right? We're not a good fit for all borrowers, because we are going to follow our processes. And sometimes the borrowers want to take shortcuts, and, they just want someone that's going to give them all the money and leave them alone. Well, we're going to give them the money, but we're going to give it in stages, and it's going to follow these safety procedures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think knowing what those processes are, if you go back to marketing, right, is you still have to continue to go out for building those relationships, and so knowing what those key components are for them being a fit as you go into a meetup group, or you go to a RIA, or you go to Rotary, any of those different things it's like, well, there's that word, the reticular, right? Reticular, the RAS. Then you're going to be able to connect with people and grow that borrower and money partner network.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we got out there, we started meeting people. We got clear on what made a good borrower for us, and what didn't, what made a good money partner for us, what didn't. And then, just worked to keep that balance. And, for me, I'd rather have more deals than money if there's a temporary imbalance, because I would rather, turn down a deal than have a really great deal and have to say, well, we can't close it because we don't have the funds.
Agreed.
So that's the side that I lean to. But yeah, it's been a interesting thing, and it continues, right? This part of the interview that we're about to wrap up here is how we got started adding those borrowers and money partners, and it starts with that intentionality, and you mentioned back to that conversation that I had with Willie. We had to decide, do we just keep the one or two borrowers and go with that, or do we grow things? And another interesting leg of the journey there. And again, I'm happy to share with anyone that wants that borrower interview sheet. I just shared it with someone a couple of weeks ago that's been in the mortgage industry for a couple of decades, and they were really excited to get it. So it's a really good tool.
It's simple but powerful.
Yes, it's a one-pager, so it's simple but definitely powerful in finding out if the borrowers have the right, characteristics that we're looking for.
Right.
So, well, I'd say we wrap it up for this one. There's a lot of other good content, but I think we saved some of that for the third video, because where do we go from here? Well, to this point, we haven't had any kind of software in place, or it's really just been Gail and I doing this thing. So on the next time, we wanted to talk about how did we jump into a software and start adding employees and things. So next leg of the journey is there.
I'm excited. It'll be good.
Yeah. Well,
stay tuned.
Yeah. Once again, I've enjoyed it. I always enjoy getting to hang out with you. Really fun when you get to come here, right? You're in Texas, we're in Alabama, so you got to come visit.
Yes.
Last month.
I got my Roll Tide t-shirt now.
I got your t-shirts. We had to go by the Alabama store. So really great working together again, and glad to be able to share all this information with our friends out there.
All right. So, see you next time.
All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.